Good afternoon and welcome. Welcome indeed, yes, to a Monday edition of the Mark Moses Show, only right here on the Mark Moses Show podcast. I'm so used to saying it for the radio, kind of do that intro, and then it's like, oh, the Mark Moses Show podcast. That's what we're on. And you can find it wherever you listen online, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. It's mostly through Podbean. Yes, it is the Mark Moses Show, and we are always broadcasting from the Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Take back control of your life. Call them today, 1-800-747 free. That is 1-800-747-3733. Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Yes, we also want to give a shout out to Chumley's Depot in downtown Melbourne, where friends meet, official sponsor for What's on Tap, and our great friends at Walk-On's Sports Bistreaux right there in Vieira, home of the $5 Tito's all day, every day, and bonus $4 Busch Lights as well. Yes, at Walk-On Sports Bistreaux there in Vieira. Now, this show has been a lot over the last month or so. Conversations I've had with, different guests. And we do have great guests that come on this show. Alan Slaughter-Zinski with Brevard Sports Network, and Damon with Space Fish, and Tim Walters of the Florida Today. Like, we have some great guests. We really do. But I thought today, I've been hearing everyone talk. I feel like the egomaniac in me, I need to get everything off my chest. I feel like I've not talked enough, even though I talk all day long behind the scenes. But I feel like I need to get things off my chest now. And there's much I need to discuss. And I'm going to start with this. The NFL is king. It is king. King, king, king. And if you don't believe me, I'll say this. Every year when they release what are the top 100 TV shows in America from January to December, every year, out of the top 100, 92 of them, 93 of them on average are NFL games. Out of the top 100, I will say this one more time, out of the top 100 TV programs year after year, 90% of them are NFL games, not baseball, not college football, not basketball, not your soap opera you watch on CBS during the day. No, it is NFL football. And my good example of that feeling of how powerful the NFL is yesterday morning. I'm at my parents' house. It's early. My dad and I are watching television, and we turn on SportsCenter. And SportsCenter used to be a show that I grew up watching and I loved. And I love watching ESPN. It's part of my childhood into adulthood. But over the last couple of years, I just stopped caring about watching SportsCenter. But for that moment, my dad, we're flipping the channels and we decide together on Mother's Day, we decide we're going to watch SportsCenter for a couple minutes together. We do this. So they're doing a segment talking NBA playoffs. And they're breaking down this pivotal Game 4 match coming up today. This was yesterday. Big pivotal. The Oklahoma City Thunder and the Denver Nuggets from Denver. And they're having insiders. They're breaking down the stats, how big of a game this is in the Western Conference. And we watched the whole 5-minute segment. And at the end of that segment, my dad turns to me. And my dad loves basketball. And he loves the NBA. And he loves the Bulls. And he loves Jordan. He turns to me after hearing all this stuff about the Thunder and the Nuggets, pivotal second-round matchup in the Western Conference. My dad turns to me and he goes, hey, when do real sports start? And I know what he means. And it wasn't just, oh, when does baseball, when does hockey? No. He's taking a dig at the NBA, a sport he loves. But what he's really saying, if you're doing like, the later, he's really doing, when does the NFL start again? When does football start again? That's what he was trying to say to me. When does football start up again in this country? Because I've said this before. And if you're new to the Mark Moses Show podcast, I'm going to say it to you right now. There are 2 seasons now as a sports fan in the United States of America. It's football season, which goes from, August all the way to the beginning of February when we get to the Super Bowl. That's football season. Then most of February to the end of July is another season called When is Football Coming Back? So if you're thinking, where am I right now? It's not hurricane season. That starts around June 1st. Goes till about November 30th. That's hurricane season. Right now, if you're wondering where we're at in the sports calendar, we're in that little motion of when is football coming back? And I think that's what my dad meant when he looked at me when we were watching Sports Center, talking NBA playoffs. When does sports come back? He's really saying, when does football come back? I had to get that off my chest. Now, the NFL is very smart. It's kind of a slow week in sports. And what they do is they'll tease you, letting you know what the NFL season opener is going to be, where the defending champs get to open. So this time it's Philadelphia. You have that. And then Wednesday of this week, so now less than 48 hours from now, we're going to find out the full schedule for this fall for the NFL. And I said it last Thursday. I'm going to pat myself on the back. I'm going to let you know. I called it with Tim Walters of the Florida Today. I said last Thursday, I said, here's what they're going to do. They're going to go big for the season opener. And it's Philadelphia, top 10 market, NFC East team. We're going to have the Philadelphia Eagles in the opener. And they could have had them take on, the Carolina Panthers, the Vegas Raiders, the San Diego Chargers, the Detroit Lions. No. They could have done that and gotten mega ratings. But you know what they did? They decided they're going to put their foot down. Where, NBA, Major League Baseball, college football. Oh, you think you're a big, big thing in this country? You're not the NFL. So you know what they did? Roger Goodell, those owners, you know what they decided? We're going to go all in. We're going to have a mega opener. We are going to have an NFC East showdown. We're going to have the Philadelphia Eagles, who are the defending Super Bowl champions, led by, yes, Super Bowl MVP Jalen Hurts, who didn't go to the White House, Saquon Barkley, who ran for 2,000 yards, and that defense and all that stuff. They're going to have the Super Bowl champions open up, and they deserve it. They won the game. They're going to take on the Dallas Cowboys. I called this last Thursday. I said they're going to go big. It's going to be a divisional lineup or matchup, and it's going to be the Cowboys. Because guess what? The Cowboys are America's team. They're a number one draw. They're always playing at 4:25 on Sunday. They have a national following. The Cowboys are a big deal. They are. They're going to take on the Eagles. Again, they get big ratings anyway. If it was the Eagles versus Carolina, Green Bay, the Colts, it didn't matter. Does not matter. Remember 2 years ago, we had Kansas City and we had Detroit, right? You had that as the opener. I was like, what is this game? And it had mega ratings. And the Lions won that game. And it was great for the NFL. I think they're going to go even further. They wanted, like we said at the top, 92 of 100 games, top 100. Well, I think they want Super Bowl ratings for this opener. And I think they might get them. Maybe not 100 million people. They're going to get 50 million or more to watch this opener because people love the NFL. It's the number one sport, and they want to go big for the opener. Big. I called it. I said it's going to be Dallas at Philly. I'm giving myself credit for this one. They got it right. So you know what they're going to do? My other part, you're going to find this out probably Wednesday morning. I'm calling my shot. They want a big game for Thursday. They're getting a big game for Thursday. They're getting Cowboys and Eagles. And yes, the Eagles are already favored. Even though we're months out from this game, Eagles are favored by 7.5. You could bet on it right now. In May, what is it today? The 12th. The game for Sunday night, I know what it's going to be. I know right now. I'm going to call my shot on a Monday afternoon. They're going to go with the Chicago Bears at the Washington Commanders for Sunday Night Football. That's what the game's going to be. They want another slobber knocker, headliner. Two teams with two big quarterbacks. That's right. Jane Daniels, Rookie of the Year, and you could have made a case he could have won the MVP last year, taking on Caleb Williams, who got even more weapons in the NFL draft. I think that's going to be the game. I think it's going to be the Bears at Commanders for the opener, Sunday Night Football. That's what I'm going to go with. In olden times, you'd say, oh, they'll be on Monday Night Football. Does anyone care what happens on Monday Night Football? Is that even still a thing? Like, are you hyped by Monday Night Football? No, you're not. Thursday night, the season opener is a big deal. Eagles, Cowboys. Sunday night, I'm taking Bears, Washington for Sunday night opener. I think that's what it's going to be. It's going to be epic. It really is. Can't wait. So I know you've been waiting a couple months. We just had the draft last month. Again, draft is done. Free agency is done. Now, we are going to have a world where the schedules will be released on Wednesday. Then we get to play the game. Like, I'm having people text message me on this fine phone. Oh, Mark, I want to break down my team. And I go, whoa. You got to wait for the schedules to be released. And that'll be Wednesday. Then moving forward, we get to play the game, this Thursday, Friday, then next week, and then the next couple weeks after that. Yeah, what your wins loss is going to be. So if you want to play that game with me, you can. If you're a Jets fan, you're a Jaguars fan, Dolphins fan, Packers fan, doesn't matter. You want to go wins losses where it's like, all right, week 7, we're at Vegas. Okay, week 10, we're at Kansas City. Week 11, we're in Buffalo. Win or loss. And I get to play the game as well. But yeah, I got it right. I keep saying this. I knew it was going to be Cowboys-Eagles. It is for the opener. And I'm telling you, it's going to be Bears-Commanders in DC or Maryland, wherever the hell they play right now. That'll be Sunday Night Football. Now, remember last year they had Eagles-Packers Friday night from Brazil. I don't think they're doing that again. But we'll see what they do. I mean, Roger Goodell, I didn't see him last week. Like, I never thought I'd see him at the White House with Trump breaking down that the 27 NFL draft will be there at the mall in D.C. But, hey, anything's possible now. So it's got to start. It's got to start with the NFL if I'm doing this show here on a Monday. It is. I like it. And my brother, he wants to go see the Bears on the road again this year. And we're like, okay, it could be Philly. It could be Washington. We're looking at all these games. Where should we go? So we'll do that on Wednesday. We will break it down, the full schedule once it gets released. It's going to be a lot of fun doing the show on Wednesday. But we're not there yet. So that's the NFL. We're going to start there. Let's go to the NBA here on the Mark Moses Show. And yes, we want to thank Chumley's Depot in downtown Melbourne where friends meet. I know every Sunday they have. This is very key. Sunday Fun Day, live music all summer long. Also karaoke on Tuesdays, comedy nights on Wednesday, but they are open 7 days a week. Also want to give a shout out to Walk On Sports Bistreaux in Viera, home of the $5 Tito's and $4 22-ounce Busch Lights all day, every day at Walk On's Viera. And our great studio sponsor, yes, Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Take back control of your life. Call them today, 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys. So that's the NFL. Let's go to the NBA. And it's not about a playoff game. No. It's about the GOAT, Michael Jordan, announcing today that he is going to be a special contributor, and I'm doing the Chris Farley quotes, special contributor to the NBA on NBC. And yes, he did the press release saying, I'm excited to be back, and it was a big part of my career in the 90s, blah, 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 blah. They're going all in. NBC's not messing around. They need the GOAT. They need Jordan. And I can just picture this where, Jordan has that house in Jupiter, Florida, south of here, not far. I imagine he's on the golf course, smoking that big cigar, playing 18, and he gets the phone call, and it's NBC, Peacock Universal, whatever they're called now. They're like, hey, Mike, MJ, your airness, we need you. We got to make a splash. Fox Broadcasting, they're spending $30 million plus on Tom Brady. They made a splash for NFL football. We need to make a big time GOAT splash. We need Michael Jeffrey Jordan back. And he's like, all right, what do I get? How much you paying? Even though Jordan's worth billions of dollars now, I got to be back. That's right. He's not part of ESPN. He's not part of Disney, the Mickey Mouse. He's not part of Jeff Bezos and Amazon. No, he's going back to NBC. Now, does that mean he'll be in a studio show? He'll be calling games on the microphone? We don't know yet. But they made a press release today. They put it on the X and all the social media that Jordan is back in the fold. And remember, he's never done this before. No, he's been an owner. He's been a mentor. He's been a businessman. He's been the greatest basketball player on the planet Earth. He's never been a broadcaster. And maybe he's just a guy behind the scenes. Maybe he won't get in front of the microphone. Maybe he'll just be behind there. We don't know what's going to happen, but I find it exciting. And I like they dropped this. This is very interesting. We have the playoffs still going on. We're only in the second round. There's this round, conference finals, NBA finals. We won't know the champion until we get to Flag Day. We get to about June 14th. We won't know yet who the champion is, and we're still doing this season. But NBC, they don't care. We're going to start hyping this now. Get that John Tesh Round Ball Rock song. Can I say it right? Round Ball Rock. That song. You know the song. Let's do that. Let's get the song back. Let's get John Tesh on the phone, and let's get the GOAT back, Michael Jordan, the man who made NBC a lot of money in the 90s. He's going to be on there. I hope he is in the studio. I hope he's there in the studio breaking down what players he thinks are good and what players does he think is bad. And then maybe, I don't know, maybe he starts ripping Reinsdorf on the air. This is going to be fascinating to see. And I love it. Jordan is my man. Number one on my list, the GOAT. He played for my team growing up. I'm happy he's going to do this. My buddy Tim, who I went to college with, he texted me. He's just like, I hope Jordan comes on the TV screen and he says, I'd like to buy the Bulls now for $3 billion. All right, $5 billion. I'm good for it. I'm Michael Jordan. That's what it needs to be. But yes, Michael Jordan will be back in the NBA in some type of capacity. Special contributor. That's the word on the street today. Michael Jordan is back. Good. It'd be so cool if he came out and he's on that studio, the NBA and NBC studio, and he's just out there and he's like, yeah, LeBron's a bum. That guy needs to retire. Like, it'll be amazing to see. Can't wait. So you got that in the NBA. Then the other one, again, nothing to do with the actual playoffs. Giannis Antetokounmpo has come out and he has said he is open to maybe playing for other teams now. And I looked up the stats. All right, I got to make sure I have this right. I wrote this down in the chicken scratch. Okay. He's 30 years old, former MVP, multiple-time MVP, finals MVP, NBA champion. He signed a mega contract extension in 20, then he signed another one in 23, 2 years ago. Giannis Antetokounmpo, and I don't know if you're a Magic fan, you're really listening to this. Giannis signed through the 26-27 season, Supermax contract. He is going to make $62.8 million next season, coming off a season where he averaged 30 points a game and had one of his best seasons ever last year for the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, they're out of the playoffs. He's at home. Not good, but he is open to the idea of playing for another team. And this is just my thought. If you are the Orlando Magic, you need to make that phone call. You better not sit on your ass. You better make a phone call and see what it's going to take to go get Giannis Antetokounmpo on this team. And you know, if you're Milwaukee, you know, I want this, I want that, and I want draft picks. It might take you 2 players and picks. Forget about the money. Who cares? I want this, I want that, and I want your draft picks. That's why when you, and I know it happened back in January, you look at Dallas. And I'm on record as saying this. I think the ownership of the Dallas Mavericks, now Mark Cuban, the new ownership, I don't think they wanted to play. I don't think they wanted to pay Luka Doncic. They did not. They did not want to pay that guy. They didn't want to give him $350 million guaranteed. They didn't think he was worth it. Now, they might be crazy, but they didn't want to do it. They told that general manager, trade him. You're going to get a lot of flack for this, but trade him. That's what you need to do. That's why I don't blame, from that standpoint, trading Luka. I don't blame the GM. I think the ownership did that. I blame that Nico guy. I blame him because he got a bag of beans for Luka. He should have opened that up to all teams in the NBA. Hey, Luka's on the block. What are you going to give me? Because there are teams around the NBA, they would have given him 10 picks, players, more picks. And what do you get? He got a maybe a completely injured, Anthony Davis, who played, 2 or 3 games for them? That's what it felt like. Then you had a protected 27 pick, and I think one other player. You should have gotten 10 picks for Luka, and then some. And that's why I go back to the Milwaukee Bucks. They're not going to be that stupid. They're not just going to call up the Lakers and give them for, I don't know, like one player. No. Milwaukee, if they are actually going to do this, their greatest player they've had since Wilt Chamberlain? Or is it Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? You know what? I feel like every team has played for someone else, played for Milwaukee, then played for the Lakers. I feel like Giannis is maybe their best player ever. I feel like you have a situation here. It was Kareem, by the way. All right, now I'm thinking in the back of my mind. Wilt played for Philadelphia, then the Lakers. Kareem played Milwaukee, then the Lakers. All right, I had to make sure I had that right. Okay. Best player for Milwaukee. If you're going to start over and decide we can't win with him moving forward and we can get the King's ransom, I want your best player or your second best player, then another player, then I want multiple draft picks. And if you're Orlando, you are the Orlando Magic, I think what you need to do is, okay, let's sit down and discuss this. Because if it takes Franz Wagner, who I love Franz. If it's Franz Wagner, Cole Anthony, and maybe Wendell Carter Jr. Let's say it's something like that. And then, or maybe they ask for Jalen Suggs. Let's say it's 3 of your rotation guys, and Franz Wagner is the centerpiece for Giannis Antetokounmpo, and you put a front court of Paolo Banchero with Giannis, an MVP candidate. You'd have 2 MVP candidates in their prime. And then you build shooters around them. I think you have to do it. And again, I love Franz Wagner, but I think you might have to do it. I do. I think you might have to go for it. I think you have to do it. But then there are other teams in the NBA. You look at, Houston, and you look at some of these other teams like Oklahoma City. They still have like 10 picks. They might outbid you, where if you are Milwaukee, you might have to take those picks. Hey, all right, we'll take Chet Holmgren and 15 draft picks. All right, we might have to do that. That's why it's going to be fascinating. This is going to be interesting moving forward. But if you're the Magic, you better make that phone call. You said you're in win now mode. You better prove it to the fan base. So that's Giannis. That's going to dominate. That's more interesting than in the games going on right now. I know you're going to have Knicks and Boston. You're going to have that game coming up. And, you got all these games, the Western Conference, everything. But I think Giannis on the open market through a trade, and yes, he is signed, through the 27 season. I think there's going to be teams calling up saying, all right, I'll give you this and I'll give you that. And if you're the Magic, I think it's probably going to take Franz Wagner, and they might have to throw in Jalen Suggs. I mean, maybe, or it's Cole Anthony, Wendell Carter Jr., KCP. I don't know. Stuff the dragon, the mascot, and then some draft picks. I think it's on the table. I think you have to make those phone calls. And there's going to be other teams like Houston, Oklahoma City. Hell, the Lakers with LeBron are going to make a phone call. I think it's going to be open for business. I think it's going to be fascinating to see. And I think he will leave Milwaukee. I think he needs a change of scenery. And I think he won the title for Milwaukee. So you can't be like, oh, well, I'm not loyal. I didn't do that. No, he won the title. I think Giannis is going to move on. This is the Mark Moses Show. Yes, we want to give a shout out to, our great partners, Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Does a great job. Take back control of your life. Call them today, 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Also, Walk On Sports Bistreaux in Vieira and Chumley's Depot in downtown Melbourne. We'll send with this. back to the NFL. I had to do this last night on TV on News 13 in Orlando and then Bay News 9 in Tampa. We were talking Jaguars football, and I feel like this discussion is going to go on all summer long until we get to the NFL season. That Travis Hunter guy, Travis Hunter, he was the second pick in the draft. The Jaguars traded multiple picks to get up to number 2 with Cleveland and draft that guy. He won the Heisman Trophy. He was the best player in college football. He is a dynamic superstar in the making. He could become the first mega superstar for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I know they've been around since like 93, 94. They've never had a player at that level. They never had it where you could go into Kansas City, Missouri, Los Angeles. You could go into Chicago, Detroit, any city in America. And all the kids are like, yeah, I want to be Travis Hunter. Where's his jersey? And I want to get his shoe and all that. Jaguars never had a player like that. The Jaguars are the most irrelevant franchise in the NFL. They are. They have fans here in Florida, but that's about it. They're not the Cowboys. They're not the Giants. They're not the Packers. They're not the Steelers. No. They're the worst. 32 out of 32. Maybe you'd say them or the Texans. I think it might be the Jaguars. Hell, their owner wants to play in England after a while anyway. Jaguars. This guy has a chance to be a super duper star. He has all the talent in the world. And last night on TV, we were discussing with my good friend Jason Powers this idea of, should he play offense? Should he play defense? Should he play both? What should he do? And my thing is, and I've said this since he got drafted on draft night last month, here's what it needs to be. He needs the ball in his hands. He needs it. He needs the ball in his hands as much as he can. Now, you can live in a world where, all right, he plays defensive back. He makes it Revis Island, where he's the best DB, and he could be a potential, defensive player of the year. He could be that. But you could take him out of the game. You could make it where we're not going to throw the ball his way. No. We're not going to, no. He's too good, and that helps your defense. But overall, you could take him out of the game. Just like in baseball, you don't have to pitch to a hitter. You can walk him 4 times, take him out of the game. That's what I feel like with him. He can't just play defense. And I would start him, whoever they're going to find out who they'll play on Wednesday in the opener. I think what you need to do is you start him on offense. I think he starts at wide receiver where Brian Thomas Jr. is on one side, who has the potential to be a superstar, and then you have him on the other side. And I think he starts on offense only. Teach him the defense, but the key is with all the draft capital you gave up, I feel like he needs the ball in his hands. He needs it. He needs the ball in his hands as much as he can. And a lot of people are like, well, he'll do 40 snaps on offense, 50 on defense. You got to limit it from the standpoint of he's going to get dinged up. He's going to get banged up. He's not going to be healthy 100% of the time. He's not. This isn't Madden video game football. That's not going to happen. He's going to get dinged up. He's not going to stay healthy. You can't let an NFL player play 110 snaps a game. You could do that at Colorado, taking on jabroni teams in the Big 12. Can't do that in the NFL. It's the highest level. That's why if I am this coaching staff led by first-year new head coach Liam Cohen, who used to be the OC there in Tampa, I think what you need to do is start him on offense, and he has got to get the ball in his hands as much as possible. He has to, and he needs to score, and that's how they're going to win. If you just have him on defense, it's not going to work. And I don't think it's going to work if you try to play Iron Man football the whole game. It's not going to happen. You do that, he'll be injured by week 7 or 8 after a while. That's the problem. So I'm sipping water. When we get to training camp, going to be fascinating. Fascinating. He was at rookie camp last week. That's child's play. Get to actual training camp, and when we get to the preseason, it is going to be must-see TV. And when we get to that opener, the Sunday after Labor Day, Jaguars are going to be in a big game. And people are going to tune in for the first time in a long time. You're going to get people like, hey, what's going on with the Jaguars? I want to see what that Travis Hunter guy's doing. And he better have the ball in his hands, and he better be on offense. All right, that's a Monday show. We went 30 minutes, just me. And I felt like I haven't done that, where it's just a monologue, me going at it in about, 2 or 3 months. So I wanted to get all this stuff off my chest. It is Cowboys and the Eagles in the opener. That's right. That's what it's going to be. Okay, here's what we got. What's on tap? What's on tap? Brought to you by Chumley's Depot in downtown Melbourne. Yes, that is correct. And don't forget, they're going to have karaoke on Tuesdays. Wednesday nights is comedy night. And people are asking me, Mark, when are you going to be doing stand-up comedy? Not yet. We got to get through this show. Full slate, hockey. I know the Panthers won last night, 2-2 with that series with Toronto. They're going back to Toronto for Game 5 in a couple days. You have Game 4, Knicks and Boston. I think the Knicks are going to win tonight. Winner of that series will take on the winner of Indiana and Cleveland. Indiana won big last night. They're up 3-1 on the Cavaliers. So a lot of stuff. Hockey's going on. Major League Baseball. Monday Night Raw for my buddy TJ McMahon, who hates wrestling. That's what's on tap, brought to you by Chumley's Depot in downtown Melbourne. Also want to give a shout out to Walk On Sports Bistreaux there in Vieira and Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. All right. It's a Monday edition of the show. We'll be back tomorrow with Alan Slaughter-Zinski, Brevard Sports Network. Have a great night, and I'll see you tomorrow right here on the Mark Mosey Show.